$111,252. That is not the price of a home. That is how much you need to earn every single year just to qualify for a mortgage on the typical American home. $111,000 per year. Now here is the other number. The typical American household earns $86,185. That gap, $25,000, is the distance between where most American families are and where they need to be just to afford an average home. Not a mansion, not a luxury property. The typical home, this is not speculation. This is not a political opinion. This is the official finding of Redfin, one of America's largest and most respected real estate research organizations, published February 11, 2026. And here is the part that makes this story more complicated than most headlines suggest. The number is actually getting better. For the first time in 5 years, the income needed to buy a home is going down. It peaked at $122,000 in June 2025. It has been falling since November. It now sits at $111,000 better. So the good news is, things are improving. The bad news is, they improved from impossible to nearly impossible. And 25 million American families are still on the wrong side of that $25,000 gap. Let me show you exactly how America got here. Because this did not happen overnight. And understanding how it happened is the only way to understand what comes next. In 2020, the pandemic hit. Interest rates were cut to near zero. Mortgage rates dropped to historic lows below 3%. Every American who could afford a down payment rushed into the market simultaneously. Home prices surged. Then in 2022, the Federal Reserve raised interest rates aggressively to fight inflation. Mortgage rates jumped from 3% to nearly 7% in less than 18 months. Monthly payments on the same house nearly doubled. The income needed to afford that house doubled with it. Here are the real numbers right now. The median home sale price in America today, $426,747. The average mortgage rate, 6.1%. The resulting monthly mortgage payment, $2,675 per month, every month, for 30 years. And here is what most people do not know. That $2,675, that is just the mortgage. Add property taxes, add homeowners insurance, add maintenance costs, add HOA fees in many communities. The real monthly cost of owning that average American home easily crosses $3,000 to $3,500 per month. At 30% of income, which is the standard threshold for what is considered affordable, you need to earn $111,000 per year to cover that payment alone. The average American family brings home $86,000. They are $25,000 short every year. And it gets more personal than that. In Las Vegas, you need $111,000 to afford a median home. In Dallas, $112,000. In Sacramento, California, $148,000. In San Jose, California, over $270,000 per year just to afford the median home. The city where Silicon Valley built its billions requires a household income most Americans will never see just to afford an average house. I want to be straight with you right now, because there is good news buried in this data. And I do not want you to miss it. Affordability is improving. The income needed to buy a home fell 4% year over year. Affordability improved in 37 of the 50 largest American cities. Redfin's own economists expect gradual continued improvement throughout 2026 as wages rise and housing costs stay mostly flat. The door is opening slowly. But here is what that improvement does not fix. Mortgage rates are still above 6%. The Federal Reserve meets this Tuesday, March 18th, and markets give a 92% probability that rates hold exactly where they are. Even if the Fed eventually cuts, the impact on long-term mortgage rates is gradual and uncertain. And the war situation at the Strait of Hormuz, which is pushing energy prices higher, is adding new inflationary pressure that could delay Fed rate cuts further. The $25,000 gap is not closing fast enough for the families who need it to close now. So what do you actually do? Here is what the data says. Number 1. If you are trying to buy, watch the specific markets. Dallas saw affordability improve 7.4%. Jacksonville, Florida, 5.9%. Sacramento, 6.8%. These are markets where the numbers are moving in your direction fastest. If geographic flexibility is possible, the data is telling you exactly where the opportunity is improving most rapidly. Number 2, understand what you can actually afford. Based on today's numbers, not hoped for future rates. With rates at 6.1%, a $300,000 mortgage costs you approximately $1,800 per month, just in principal and interest. A $350,000 mortgage, approximately $2,100. Build your budget around what those payments actually cost at current rates, not the rates you hope to refinance into someday. Number 3. If you cannot buy right now, renting is not failure. Redfin confirmed that renting the typical home requires $76,000 in annual income, $35,000 less than buying. That $35,000 difference, invested consistently every year, builds real wealth while you wait for the buying window to open wider. Number 4. Watch the Federal Reserve. Every point that mortgage rates fall meaningfully expands what you can afford. A single percentage point drop in mortgage rates reduces the required income threshold by approximately $8,000 to $10,000. That is the single most important variable for housing affordability in the next 12 months. Here is the final thing I want to leave you with. 5 years of worsening housing affordability. 5 years of watching that number climb. From affordable, to reachable, to difficult, to nearly impossible. And now, for the first time, it is moving the other way. Slowly, but the direction changed. The $25,000 gap between the average American family and the average American home is real. The frustration is valid, the math is brutal. The system failed a generation of buyers. But the data also says, for the first time in 5 years, it is getting better. Not fast enough, but better. Real Cost America, we tell you the whole picture. Not just the part that makes you angry. Not just the part that makes you feel better. The whole picture. Subscribe. Because next week, we are going to show you exactly which American cities offer the best combination of affordability, job growth, and quality of life right now, with real numbers. The data will surprise you.